You know what? I gotta say two things. One of them is one of the best pranks I ever pulled off is, and I've never been a notorious prankster or anything, but once in a while, opportunity presents itself. In the era of like maybe this was, it was whatever the Metallica album Death Magnetic came out. I'm gonna guess 07, 08, and the buzz on it was like, it's a heavy one. They're a heavy band again. Like every band does all the time. No, we're good again. And my friend Adam that I worked with, huge like old school Metallica fan, and I told him I had a leak of it, and I just burned the Macho Man rap album onto a CDR and just labeled it like it was the Metallica album. He was so excited when I gave it to him.
Oh, yeah, go for it, Mark. Fuck, I forgot you can't hear it.
I was trying to signal you.
I had the audio file over the screen, so it was covering just your face.
Okay, perfect. Could the Paisanos hear the song a second ago?
Yeah, everyone could hear it except for you, unfortunately.
Everyone's just staring at me. It's like a dream all of a sudden. There's something, Mark. Start the show, Mark. I'm waiting for the song.
Why aren't you wearing pants? And also,
I was like pointing and pointing. I was.
Class.
What's that? Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and my teeth fell out. I was like, it all happened so quick, Jeremy. I was like pointing at you, saying you have to point to me, and then I was like, no, I'm just pointing at things. So then I went headphone. I went combination headphone. Shake my head no.
See, if your wife was in here, she would have solved this.
She would have said you probably could just wait till it's obvious that the song has ended.
You know what I should have done is the 3, 2.
Oh my God. You would have scolded me for doing. Okay. Anyways, should I just start it?
Yeah, start it up.
All right. Hey, butt pushers. Welcome back to the Hard Drive Podcast.
Sup, butt pushers.
We took the last week off. We had a lot of butts to push.
Yeah, we got to push extra butts this week.
We were up to our elbows in bacon.
My name is Jeremy Cappell. With me, as always, is Mark Roebuck. Mark, how are you doing?
Not great. Good, but not great as far as the show so far goes.
That's okay. We're doing fine.
We'll bounce back.
We are, we took a week off last week, and this week we're taking it easy. We're gonna friggin' watch Wayne's World, one of our favorite movies in the world.
Mm-hmm. In Wayne's or any okay. I think this movie's it's a really good call when you suggested that we do this, because this has been I think we have a lot of things that we share and like or don't like, but I think Wayne's World might be like, if we like plotted them out, it might be the biggest crossover or something. And I think the ultimate reference in our friendship might be sometimes we'll reference Wayne's World as 1 or 2, which is also kind of a reference to the way they talk about The Godfather in The Sopranos.
Yes,
so I like that. I like that a lot. So
that is
we're watching 1 today. Everybody.
We're watching 1. And then
the
3,
disc is in there. Okay.
The really shitty version of 3 is for us just the new Uber commercials.
That's right. That's The Godfather 3. You're right. It's Uber Eats. Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, the format of this is going to be, we are going to play the movie. You're going to hear the audio a little bit on my end. We cannot show it. We're for those listening on the podcast, we are live on Twitch right now, and we can't show it, but because we will get arrested by the Twitch police. But you'll be able to hear it a little bit, and we're probably just going to talk about Wayne's World for an hour and a half. We're just going to talk over it about the movie Wayne's World, right? I mean,
well, I'm not going to talk about Beverly Hills Cop,
All right, let's fucking do it.
I was trying to think of some different movie. I don't know. Yeah, but no, I think when we talked about, yes, please, let's load it up. I'm saying like
we can over the intro. It's a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, we should just.
We're just gonna talk about what we like about Wayne's World.
Right, and like I'm on a Penelope Spheris kind of kick too, so I've got some thoughts on why she was such a good director for this film.
All right, I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna press.
If you are,
you ready?
Yeah.
Should we do a countdown?
Let's do it. I hit mine just because I knew the Blu-ray was going to play me like through the FBI things, but I am paused on a Paramount Mountain.
All right, so should I just count it? I guess. I mean, we're probably in the same spot. We'll sync up anyway. Who cares?
You should call it Paramountain.
I'm gonna do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What year is this? It's
1992. This is 1 year before I'm born.
Amazing. See? That's crazy because I was alive when this movie came out.
Yeah, that's true. This is probably the most formative movie I've ever seen.
It's really up there. It's one of those movies. I mean, it was. I was like, I'm young enough that I don't remember this movie coming out. Like it was always there as far because I was born in '84, so I was 7 or 8. I watched Wayne's World. But yeah, it definitely is like it's when you're young, you don't realize the things that are meta and the things that are being kind of skewed. And stuff like that. And it's funny that they say swing and there's things like that. I mean, that's like just great comedy working on different levels and whatnot.
Well, there's a scene later on where they parody a commercial where like Wayne is driving and they roll down the window and they do like a little bit with another car.
Yes.
And as a kid, I never understood that joke. And then eventually my dad was like, "That's a commercial that was out before you were born." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Which is kind of true to like I mean, SNL movies are famously like a tricky thing to pull off, but that's kind of true to it that they do just kind of shoehorn in some like commercial parodies and stuff, but also not to the detriment of like the story and the character. It's.
Do you think it's weird, Mark, that Wayne's World now has returned for the first time in like 20 years to do a big advertisement for Uber Eats when the premise of the movie Wayne's World is that you would never want them to advertise for you?
Ah, that's funny. I love that. I thought you were gonna say like just everyone just got really sore like sold out or whatever. But that's a much more interesting.
Yeah, if I was
point,
the CEO of Uber Eats, I'd be worried about getting called a sphincter.
Yeah. The baby's gonna have a little onesie that says "My dad blows goats" or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Of course. No, I don't know. I was like, I found myself, and this is happening often, and I love it. I find myself just incapable of having an opinion about stuff. You ever have that?
Yeah, I feel that.
Where it's like, I can't get mad about this. I understand what people are saying. I just don't, I don't know, like, and I know it's indicative of bigger problems of what things like Uber are doing to all that. I get all that, and I don't love it. But like, I just didn't have it in me to get mad about a commercial. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it certainly sucks.
I don't love it. Would I be happier if they weren't around? Sure. I just think too, what I think with the commercial thing, let Dana get some money.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Mike Myers doesn't need it.
I would think not, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of problems these guys have. We talked about this a little bit too, but also it's also just the fan of this. The part of me that's a fan of this movie is happy on the level of on some point you'll always like to see the characters maybe. So that's just kind of fun. I don't care. I get a little pop even if it's an Uber commercial. It's fucking Wayne and Garth, man. And then you come down to earth. Okay, it's a little weird. They're a little old now, but the other thing is it's just good to see them having rectified whatever maybe rift they might have had in their relationship, which I've heard Dana Carvey speak on about kind of not being in Austin Powers, which is like a real thing. And I don't know, there's two sides to it. Maybe Mike Myers doesn't feel the same or not, but Dana Carvey on Howard Stern definitely was like,
yeah, what's the story there? He's pissed off that he wasn't Dr. Evil, right?
He felt a bit slighted that he was not asked to play Dr. Evil. I think he thought they were kind of like, maybe they were like Chris Farley and David Spade, or like they were like a duo, and that they'd move on. And not only just that assumption, but also the thing that Dr. Evil was based on not only Lorne Michaels, but like kind of Dana Carvey's version of Lorne Michaels. But the counter argument to that is that everyone kind of does that when they go to SNL. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't really have an opinion. I'm just happy that they at least got paid to be mad at each other, or they made up. I don't know.
I mean, I think that they made up for the 40th anniversary.
That's right. They have. Yeah, you're right.
Because they did. That was the last time they did it. I think
they did like a list, right? They did one of their lists,
and they both did Lorne, which I thought was interesting.
That's interesting.
They both did an impression of Lorne.
Yeah, I mean that's just the thing. They slip it under your fucking door.
They really do slip it under your door.
I kind of just stole a Wayne's World joke in one of the TV shows. He says when you move into the suburbs, they just is it in the movie when he says they slip a copy of Fleetwood Mac Rumors under your door when you move into the suburbs?
I think it might be.
So Wayne's walking us through his house. This is the thing too. I didn't realize the challenge or like the weirdness maybe of this movie would be, again, as a kid, you don't think like they took this little sketch that was Wayne and Garth doing a public access show, and we're going to see their lives and like upstairs, even though the house, this is like,
it starts off as
this is cool. Yeah, exactly. That's right. We've seen them do one of their episodes, and like, then we see him walk around his house and you're like, hey, I'm an actual person. And that's the thing that hits harder when you're older, when he's like, here's all my, this isn't the quote, but like all my name tags and stuff I've had from all my shit jobs and stuff, and is that part of it? I think we should talk. It's hard not to talk about the fact that SNL movies have a bit of a dodgy reputation, right? And like this one is just the one that I think everyone agrees upon.
I've never seen Blues Brothers.
Mm-hmm. I like Blues Brothers. I think I like it fine. I think I might have missed the boat on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like. I saw the Coneheads movie before I ever saw the old '80s SNLs. So like, I like the Coneheads movie a lot.
One thing I really like about this, going back to what you were saying about the name tags, is that apparently Wayne not Wayne, Mike Myers said that he very specifically wanted the movie that the audience to not know how old they are. You don't. It doesn't. It's never explicit what year it is, or
Yeah.
oh fucking these guys are gonna get us banned from Twitch.
Oh yeah, of course.
They wanted it to feel timeless, so you don't really know how old Wayne and Garth are. They
Like
could be
that,
any
right.
age. Like I don't know if
Right.
they're supposed to be 15 or 30.
Right. And there's some about characters like that do appeal to kids and adults. It is good if you can lock them into that being neither, you know. Because it's just like Beavis and Butthead. I used to wonder as a kid, like, why would they have a full blown house? Don't stop thinking about it. It's just
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
they're teenagers that have a house. They work at a burger place, maybe they own a house. I don't know, who cares,
It's
right?
like
Or
a
even like
fantastical world that they live in.
yeah, like Pee Wee is another one probably, right? That's like
I love this joke so much.
the spew into this.
See you into this, and the guy's like clearly wasted, and he gives him like a folded up Dixie cup.
Yeah, that's funny. That he carries, by the way, in a breast pocket. Is that part of it too? You know, when I grow
Do you
up,
ever know, real quick, there's a part in this where you can tell that Dana Carvey doesn't know the lyrics
Oh,
to
that's
Bohemian
funny.
Rhapsody. You can see him faking it. It's really
That's
fun.
funny. He fought for this song. People were just like,
Yeah, that's the thing. The studio really wanted him to pick a Guns N' Roses song because they felt that this wouldn't be popular enough. And he fought super hard for it, which is part of why he has the reputation for being a difficult person to work with. And he was right.
He was right. And also, I think this one, I've seen it 100 times, but you go back, you're like, wow, this is one of the very first things in the movie. It's like a statement that it's like, we're doing like, they're jamming out to the weird Queen song.
It's like opening credits almost.
It's a dumb comedy, but just from like a storytelling thing, it's just like, you know, if you're in or out on this movie. You know what I mean?
I just feel like it's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah,
it's such a smart move.
And again, and it's still like, we're just even the idea, like, I don't know how much people cared about this, but you are seeing these characters like drive around in a car and stuff, and it's kind of like they had to think about that, like, what's that like when Wayne and Garth leave the basement? And it's a pretty good job, you know. It's like it feels like the world coming into this 3D thing, and I like that. And maybe that's the thing, is that I think the knock on a lot of SNL movies are just like, don't need 90 minutes of the ladies' man or any of these things that sort of run their, you know. But
Gamer McBaggins, no, I'm not entirely sure because again, I was not alive. But my understanding is that Bohemian Rhapsody was not a popular song before this movie.
I believe that's true. I
think this is the movie that popularized Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the part. We'll get Dana Carvey.
Mm-hmm. It's a close up even kind of too.
He like clearly doesn't know the words.
That's funny, but it's kind of a Garth thing too. You know,
it works really well.
The thing too, and I always thought, you know, and it's funny. I never thought too much about what was going on with their buddy. They said he was partied out, and then you grow up, you're like, oh, he drank too much. And he feels like he's like fucked up, and he's gonna throw up or something. But I don't know if that's like, it doesn't. I don't know. Like it seems more innocent to just dance around it and say, wait, you're partied out again, man.
You're partied out, dude. The thing is, like, the world of this movie doesn't exist. Like, as a kid, I feel like I wanted to live in this world, which is like. It's just like everyone's just like always hanging out. There's like diners that are popular at all hours of the night, and
That's
like
right.
There's they just go to like all these like rock venues where there's just like always a band playing and everyone's into it. Like it just, I don't know if this ever existed.
I know, and they walk that line with like Wayne and Garth are like, I don't know, it tracks because they're these dorks that have this TV show that endear them to people.
Yes,
so when they
people
do go
love
to they go to the cool clubs, and by large the groups are like, hey, it's Wayne's World, but then like one guy might not know Garth and be like, get out of here, you dweeb. So it does, like, it seems a little fishy, but I think it kind of makes sense.
It doesn't matter.
Sense,
I like it. I mean, they go to a fucking this diner they go to that has a giant animatronic hockey player on the top of it. I want to go to that diner so badly.
That's right. I would.
And they probably
they got like the waitresses in Chicago Blackhawks uniform.
Yeah.
Like, okay, some like hockey fan wrote this. This isn't real. Maybe it's real. I don't know. But are the most valuable paisanos coming up? My man Ed O'Neill. Famously Al Bundy.
Should I be quiet? Wait, real quick.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is the manager, Glenn. He's here 24 hours a day. I recommend the sugar pucks. They're excellent. Come on.
He just takes over the narrative. He's gonna go right now.
Why is it? If a man kills another man in battle, it's called heroic. Yet if he kills a man in the heat of passion, it's called murder.
Hello. What do you think you're doing? Only me and Garth get to talk to the camera. Come on.
It's so weird. It's so weird that the movie just breaks the fourth wall and doesn't explain
That's
it
the thing,
ever.
right? I'm sure it's the first time I saw that. I'm sure it wasn't the first time it happened, but again, just as a kid, it's like the first time. It's like, you know, we use and hear the word meta a lot now, but like wasn't really, you know, I never really thought of it like that. It was just like that's the movie where they talk to me while I'm watching it, same as like Ferris Bueller or something.
Yeah,
you know? I like that
so
too. It's all,
clever.
and I don't think like I think it's inevitable that I'll end up talking about Penelope Spheris a lot. I think, but I think it's like a thing in general. I don't think comedy movies get enough credit as far as like filmmaking shit, you know what I mean? Like once every 5 years, some comedy gets nominated for the awards, and it's cool to like sideways that year, and then you know, and then by and large, but like that's like a filmmaking thing. It's almost like what Tarantino does, where it's like instead of the movie going this way, he stops the movie, the camera pans the opposite way, so he could be like, no, it's not foot massages though. It's like we're gonna talk about my dark. She's like, no, hey, the movie's over here, guys. And that was like, you know, it's innovative when a movie does it, a dramatic movie does it, or something. You know what I mean? I just think it's just like really well made comedy.
Baldy 3 says that Bohemian Rhapsody was the #1 song in the UK the year before. But all I'm saying is the story that we were told that Mike Myers tells is that he wasn't allowed to use it because it wasn't popular enough.
Okay.
I love this joke,
and I'm
too.
going to say that I thought it came from the movie, but again, my age does not give me any kind of like.
Me too.
I have no valid recollections on this, but yeah. Yeah, the gun rack thing. This is Lara Flynn Boyle, who like what. This is another thing about the movie too. It's like a lot of people just like the small roles are just Brian Doyle Murray, and like Lara Flynn Boyle went on to do a bunch of TV stuff, and it's like it's all just like really well acted, you know.
Wayne, this is Wayne's X. This is like a famous line. I feel like I love the way he says it, where he says it like so Canadian.
Yeah.
I do not own a gun.
Yeah, gun. And like, it's so crazy over the top on the nose, but like she's just wearing a necklace that says Wayne.
It's so funny. She gets him the gift, and it's like a giant like rectangle, and he's like, what is it? And she says, guess. And he's like, is it a severed head? It's such a goofy joke.
I love it. And if I miss, is there an occasion for the gift even? It's just kind of there.
No, I think she just guessed it because they're dating, even though they broke up. So like this is the thing, like they go to this rock venue. The sign is perpetually on fire.
Oh yeah, it's the Gasworks.
I want to go to this place.
Oh, a Meatloaf cameo is the doorman here.
Is this when they see the shitty Beatles?
Yeah, this is a great line.
Who's playing tonight?
It's a thing too. I like in movies and shows where characters laugh at their own jokes because that's how like people act in real life. And so even though this movie's unrealistic, it's also realistic in the sense of like they stop and laugh and Wayne says some funny shit. You know,
something that will always stick with me is I listened to Pete Holmes and Mike Birbiglia talking on a podcast once, and Pete Holmes was saying that he was working on the TV show Crashing, and what he liked about it was that all the characters are comedians. Like literally in the show, they play stand-up comedians. So he has an excuse to make them all really funny. And it's like, oh, you fundamentally misunderstand how comedies work. Oh people are just funny. Like,
yeah, people are funny.
You can just be funny in a movie. You don't have to be a comedian.
Exactly, and like it's not
in
like
fact, it's actually insufferable for all the characters to be stand-up comedians.
I know, like every single character, like you know, in like a sitcom when a kid delivers a stand-up joke, it's like it doesn't. It's like no, they make an age-appropriate joke about the situation in the comedy.
Yeah,
it's like
Wayne doesn't do stand-up, but he's funny.
You know what's a thing too? I love this movie because again, it's outlandish, it's ridiculous. Garth has just been bullied, and he's going to get some fucking thing to shock a guy. Like it's crazy, but then
it's unclear if
a minute
Garth
later,
is smart or not. He's like a scientist or like an inventor or something.
They hinted him having these projects and gadgets. Which also leads to a great scene later in the movie that is so absurd, and I understand partially because it's just like part of a subplot that got cut. And I was
is it
like,
the hand?
Yeah, like that was supposed to make more sense, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But there's the thing. It's like as crazy as this is about to shock this giant man, but like I love
so 90s.
I love the Wayne thing. There's like an influx of comedies in the 21st century started doing that thing, and I love it. Of like when you awkwardly say the wrong thing, you're not always perfectly eloquent. It's like, and I Love Your Man when Paul Rudd's always like trying to say something cool, but he's like, yeah, you too, Jobin, or you know, that thing. And I love it. I love it when it's like done well. And there's such a good one when there's a Tia Carrere as Cassandra in Crucial Taunt, who we're seeing here for the first time. When she comes off stage and people are fighting, and Wayne goes, "Rough night, huh? Everyone's kung fu fighting," and he does that thing like he makes the face like instantly like, "Oh, that was the worst thing anyone's-" like that. In amidst all this crazy stuff, is such like a human little moment, you know?
It's so good.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. Like they kind of know they're dorks too, and that's what I think is yeah, sorry, there's so much to talk about.
I love this movie so much. I just want to live in the world of this movie.
And this really launched this actress here, Tia Carrere, was like a pretty big star through the 90s.
Is that true?
Got some,
she can really play guitar, right? Like this is all real.
It's convincing. I mean,
is it not real?
Let me see here. I got a Blu-ray, so I'm gonna look at the fretboards here. Let me see how it's looking. But no, it looks pretty solid.
I think she can at least sing. I mean, yeah. I thought she could play guitar, but I don't really know.
I believe it. She's great. Even if she's not singing and playing, she's great in just like her scenes with Mike Myers and everything. You know, she's so good in this movie. And then she went on to do a few. Like she was like True Lies. She's really good in True Lies. She's fun. Really good actress for my money, of which you can't have.
I forgot she beats the shit out of that guy.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was just a fight in front of her that like inconvenienced her. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, right. What a comic book world. This is like.
I also love that she immediately like falls for Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, right.
It just
that's
works.
What I like too. It's
because Wayne's hot in this world.
He kind of gets the girl like in like the first or second act, which is a fun. You know, you think the whole movie is going to be him courting her if you're watching this for the first time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like a shittier movie would be like him being like trying to get with her, and she's like, "You're an ugly nerd," and then he like eventually wins her. But like in in this movie, it just immediately he's just cool.
Right. Let's talk about the reality of this. So this is in Chicago, right? So let's say in Chicago, like the cool fucking bass player of the cool fucking awesome band, and a guy comes up to her who has a public access television show, and he's wearing the hat of the show.
Yes. Hey, I'm wearing a Hard Times hat.
No, right, but you're not talking to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you're right, though. It's like in this movie, it's like, oh, you're that guy Wayne's World, right? I mean, hey, Wayne's World is great. So if it was a real show, it would be cool.
I would watch the fuck out of Wayne's World.
Yeah, dude.
She will be mine. Oh, yes.
But I think, too, I hinted at it, but I just wanted to say before I forget that, it's really cool that Penelope Spheris directed this movie, and I didn't know this for years, and just in the last year.
Damn low on this.
Well,
I'm up to the scene where he does the commercial thing that
the great,
as a kid.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
I never understood this as a kid, but
it was like
funny
really,
to me.
man. But it is really like that was those old commercials. They really don't exaggerate it. It was like Grey Poupon was new on the scene, and they were like saying how much regular mustard was awful. That they were really.
What I really like about this movie is that, like, so many of these comedy movies, especially Mike Myers movies, fall into just being like shitty parodies all the time. Like they're just like parody after parody after parody after parody, and it works so well in this movie because it doesn't feel like sketches. It feels like these are two goofy guys making fun of the commercial. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right,
it's the
right,
characters
exactly.
Doing the parody.
Because I think you see them laughing, like they're doing it for their entertainment, not like ours, even though they're aware of us. So I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, like so. Penelope Spheris was such a good director for this because she did a trilogy of movies. I think only the first two had been out by here, but she did a documentary series that I don't want to say everyone should check out. I think everyone should check it out, but it's also like a ton of punk and hardcore music. So if that's, whatever, but like they're called The Decline of Western Civilization. Part one, I think, is in like 1980 or 1981. And it's just like they talk to the bands, they film the shows, but it's just really, really well done. And then fucking part two is from like 86, the metal years. And that is where the studio was more like, hey, covered like this more glam metal scene. And Penelope Spheris was like, it's not really cool as punk and hardcore, but okay. So you get her interviewing people like ridiculous people from like Poison and Kiss. And that one's like a lot more, more akin to like there's like more Spinal Tap type moments in that.
Well, that's
whereas
like a perfect thing for this movie too, because she understood this culture
100%. And then I don't think it was out here at this point, but then in the late 90s, she does part three, which is just like the street punk kids, and it's not even the bands anymore. So she does have an understanding and not a condensation, but like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm filming these sets. And like, so part one is just like great. There's great sets from bands I like Fear and X and the Circle Jerks. And you see the Germs. It's like less than a year before Crash Darby dies, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy's gonna die in a year. Like, it's really fucking crazy, but also just like absurd, surreal stuff. Anyways. But yeah, so I think there's like that sort of understanding of these ridiculous people, but also like, I'm not above it. Like, I think Penelope Spheris is like a punk person, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think it's
would
really
you say that Wayne and Garth are are punks?
I
Are they
don't know.
punks?
I think
They kind of are. They don't respect authority.
That's
they
what I was
have a
gonna say,
DIY
yeah.
show. They hang out at concerts all the time,
that's right.
like shows at like small venues.
You're making convincing arguments that their friends are in bands. Their friends they find their friends drunk in the street.
Yeah, I think they're punk.
I think they're punk, man. I think it. I mean, if you wanted to be a devil's advocate, you'd say like, well, Garth's always wearing some Aerosmith or Alice Cooper shirt.
Sure.
And then I don't know. I mean, I think there's
They're a
always
little
been a
more
synergy.
like rock than punk.
I think so, but also too, like as someone that's always liked punk but not consider himself it's just like it gets a little silly, doesn't it?
You're wearing an Operation
I think
Ivy hat.
I know, and I think you're right. I think it's just that thing of like whether they like the music or not, they embody that spirit of like you're not going to tell me what and how to do something, and that's what it's all about, right?
I think so. I love, real quick, Rob Lowe's giant 90s suit.
He does have a giant fucking talking heads ass.
I know, right?
What's going on there? Nathan, for you.
Oh, I forgot that Wayne teaches himself Cantonese. This
Very
bit is a
quickly.
little racist.
It's a little wild. He's got the looks like an Atari game he held up. You know, I'll talk over this with something that my wife and I were just watching television with my producer last night, and
My marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries is a great joke.
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. This is kind of a funny bit too, where it's like, did they just roll in here and then they just like, I don't know, paying them? I need more. That's funny. Anyways, this is a little dark, but it's kind of crazy. Like Rob Lowe is just he's great in this movie. He's a good actor, but he had like that fucked up sex tape thing in the 80s.
He's a bad guy.
Do you think he's on borrowed time? Like, don't you think? Because we were watching
It's
TV and like
insane he's made it this far.
a preview for that show he's on right now. And I don't fucking no, I'm not the guy that's gonna make it. But I was just thinking, like, you know, if Netflix put out a documentary tomorrow about Rob Lowe, he'd be off that show in a week, right? He's
Rob
just like
Lowe has done a
he
lot
just
of bad
knows
stuff.
that's like out there, right? Don't
Rob
is he
Lowe
just
had sex with a teen, and he's said some pretty racist shit, I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't even know about that, but the thing is, even like that roast they did of his 4 or 5, 6 years ago, they're like cracking jokes about him like fucking a teenager and just
Yeah,
you know,
it's not
culture
good.
shifts and stuff where it's just like if you did that today, I don't know.
He's very
Fuck
good in
that-
this movie
yeah.
because he actually is a villain. I wonder if
He does play a
Parks
greaseball,
and
like
Rec,
a slimy
like,
guy.
I wonder if Parks and Recreation helped him out by making him like this more wholesome character.
Pretty, yeah, you're
'Cause
right.
He's
He
a bad
leaned into it.
person, and he's a great villain.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting though. Like one day that documentary might come out. People be like, I saw some idiot
Yeah,
say that this was going to happen.
he's not good, and I hope that when he gets canceled, we get credit for it.
That's right. This guy's great. I don't know. I guess both of these guys that aren't Rob Lowe in this scene. This is bad podcasting, but these are great. Like, again, the movie's just populated with great character actors.
Yeah.
Some I know. Some are just like, oh, that guy's in stuff.
Wayne's
But you know
World
what I
even
mean?
more. So, Wayne's World 2 even more so. I feel like.
Yeah.
So someone was asking. I think it was I'm Joe was saying that they like Wayne's World 2 more than 1. My take on Wayne's World 2 is that it's a little. They have more jokes. There's like the quantity of jokes is higher, and some of them are
Yeah.
terrific. But
Yeah.
it doesn't work as well as a movie. Like
I
this movie
think-
is just
yeah.
a nicer movie that I want to hang out in.
I think the difference is just in Penelope Spheres didn't direct the second one. There's a bit of a heart, a bit of a something not
I
there.
agree.
I guess they didn't get along. Maybe it's Mike Myers controlling stuff. I don't know too much about that. I listened to a podcast she was on, was hoping to get more insights, but they didn't really talk about it too much. Her career after this, she kind of did the Hollywood thing and then said, I don't want to do Hollywood. Like from here, she directed Black Sheep with Chris Farley and David Spade and like the Little Rascals movie and stuff like that. So it's a
Weird.
really funny thing. Like you started filming like fucking Fear and X and the Circle Jerks in LA and you're making the, but hey man, I'm sure she, and then in 1999, this one I want to watch. She also made a movie that it was like she made like a documentary about Ozfest that then she said Sharon Osbourne lied about having the rights to the music, so it never came out. But it's on like Vimeo. But I guess it's just like another. She like followed the Ozfest and like, you know, she's like hanging out with Slipknot and then they're going to see fucking Monuments on their day off and stuff. It sounds really great. I got to see that next too. It's called We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Check that out.
sorry, that's
Gamer
all I have on
McBaggins-
Penelope.
Gamer McBaggins says, "Is there such thing as a good comedy sequel?" I do think Wayne's World 2 is a good comedy sequel. It's not as good as Wayne's World 1. Other than
There's
that,
some really good stuff. I mean, the guy
big
that,
one is 2022 Jump Street, right? That's the one people
I like-
usually point to.
I like that one a lot too. That was fun. Just a continuation of. I mean, anything. I mean, there's certain films too. Like I think like the Naked Gun trilogy is just a solid like front to back thing. So 2 has a lot of really good bits. Same as
Spider-Man:
those.
Far From Home is another one.
Hey,
Sorry.
I mean, movies with comedic elements certainly. Even like I kind of rewatched the Ocean's trilogy recently, and I like them. And they're kind of like lighthearted
Yes,
heist movies.
that's
You
a
know,
great
like I think 11's my favorite though.
I'm Joe. Says he can't remember which one has cross RTs and daughter lowercase j's.
Oh,
that is
two.
two.
That's two. It's because it's pertaining to the paperwork of the festival. I do like the story. They come up with a nice story.
That
and
guy
I
showed
like.
up in a movie I was watching recently. But yeah, the story, yeah, it's just like there's more parodies in that. Like a lot of it is parody.
It does have one of my absolute favorite jokes of Wayne's is when he's like looking around, saying the bands that are going to be on it, and like who's going to be there, and he looks around and there's like people wearing band shirts, like Pearl Jam and Aerosmith, and then there's just in a recording studio, like a radio station, a man whittling a canoe goes, and like he even sounds confused while he's saying it, goes, and an old man whittling a canoe. What? I mean, Van Halen. That's just perfect. It's a perfect joke. The way that he course corrects. I mean, what? I mean Van Halen. like that extra.
Yeah, there's a lot of great jokes in Wayne's World too. It's just also an insane movie with not as much heart.
I will say it contains maybe the better. I mean, they're both great. I like the Chris Farley performance in 2 a little better. He plays 2 different roles. That's another thing I wanted to say too with these movies. These SNL movies, good or bad, like you have like that stacked SNL cast is just so like again, you watch like Wayne's World and even like Coneheads I mentioned earlier, and just like every little part seems like it's someone fun. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. Chris Farley's great.
Have the M&M's guy in Wayne's World too, which is great.
Yes, that's right. The beat them to death with their own shoes. I think that's the thing. I think it's like
shoes.
It might be a director thing where just Wayne's World is greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I think that's honestly.
And I think Wayne's World 2 is like a lot of good parts that just I don't.
Is Wayne's World 2 also the one that has the YMCA joke?
Yeah, they do the Village People whole thing.
Yeah,
they do the Village People, and it's got Christopher Walken in there. It's got a really funny thing where he stops the movie because the actor stinks, so they pull Charlton Heston into it.
Yeah, that's the next one.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. Good series of skits, you know.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if anyone in the chat has any. What are the other SNL movies? Because I also remember liking Stuart Saves His Family, which seems like a real that seems like a real.
MacGruber. MacGruber's a good.
There
SNL
you go.
Movie. But Wayne's World's the for me my favorite comedy movies of all time are Wayne's World, Wet Hot American Summer, and Hot Rod, and maybe Popstar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gamer asked SNL movie basically produced. That's true that Lorne Michaels produces a lot of movies, but I guess I was speaking more to like.
No, we're talking about sketches that originated on SNL.
Yeah, like a sketch
Hot Rod is
adapted
produced
into
by
a movie.
Lorne Michaels. I wouldn't call it an SNL movie.
I feel like there were more.
Yeah,
there were
more
than
like
Superstar was pretty. I don't know. Night at the Roxbury was one. That cast got a lot. I feel like Ladies Man and all that. I feel like there's some in the '90s I'm forgetting, but oh well, just the same. You're right too. They go to all these different venues that are just like, it's cool.
Yeah,
this isn't how concerts are in real life. You know, like everyone has room.
Yeah,
like this isn't it.
Show.
This is like the most comfortable. There's like furniture around. I know they're in someone's loft. Is the
like
kayfabe on this one? But was it? She said it was at her loft earlier in the movie. So is she doing this to pay her rent, but also like, you know, if you didn't live in a warehouse, your rent might be lower. Hey, who am I? Who do I care? I don't know. Oh yeah, it's bad. That was why I knew there was some like I can't believe, dude. You want to talk about something that will go over rough today? Fucking, it's Pat. Holy Christ.
That's not good.
Holy hell. I think it's funny too. The guy in the unrelated, but I just thought fucking the one guy that's always like, I love you, man. They're friends.
Yeah, that guy's great.
Hair. He's great. It's a thing, man. Have you ever seen the show Oz? I'm not going to give anything away.
Everybody's in that show, though.
There's so many people that went on to be so funny. Or
everybody in The
Oz.
Wire is in Oz.
Dude, like, so many people that were funny were like horribly disturbing. Because like Oz is a horribly disturbing show. I like it, but like, it's the first place I saw J.K. Simmons as like a the leader of the white supremacists. And I don't know his name, but he plays Dennis Duffy, which is like my favorite character of all time on 30 Rock. You know, and he's like the car insurance guy. He's a goofball. He's like an Oz. And this guy, he's talking to Wade now. He was like Beecher, like one of the main characters on Oz.
He's so funny in this movie. He doesn't even have a reason to be in it.
Exactly. I know. Yeah, exactly. They have like 3 or 4 friend characters. They could have combined this up with someone else's traits.
Easily. You know? Easily could have been one character.
Very true.
This could have been one of the producers. But he just feels real. Like, I feel like I know this character.
Totally right.
I love when Garth just goes into that dance. It's so good.
That's funny. It's a pretty. Garth is like probably the sweetest character in all of this, right? Just in the way that everyone's so bothered by him telling him I love you, and he's like, I love you. I love it. I recommend everybody go back and watch Oz. It's a good show, and it's just jarring. It'd be like if the Christopher Guest people got together and watched Schindler's List or something. You know,
they made a very serious mockumentary.
I mean, I'm sure they could, and I'm sure they could do it. But you would just watch it and be like, huh?
Well, the
Why would I
story is
say
that Christopher Guest does not like to make jokes ever outside of his movies.
He's like,
not funny.
this is my job. It's like
I love that about him. I think it's insane.
Yeah. There was I read a biography of Andre the Giant, and they made mention of, it must have just been some anecdotal thing that made its way into the book, but that Christopher Guest, when he worked on The Princess Bride with Andre the Giant, made it a point to always go shake his hand every morning, just because he liked the, he's got that fucking giant hand, and he just wanted to see it. Yeah, so it's like, so he's not uneccentric. He's not all serious, I don't think. I just think he's, yeah.
Oh man, this movie's so fun. I love this clip of Wayne like floating through the crowd.
Yeah, I know, that's funny. They put him on like a thing, or he just makes the face.
It's so good.
It's like he reacts, but not to her. Just there's someone I don't like to see. Yeah, incredible. So yeah, I guess and I think they were smart to do this. They didn't feel too. The movie is. It is about the show Wayne's World, but like they didn't like feel like they had to do like their top 10 lists, and they're kind of like, like they really just like they told a bigger story of this show getting bought and sold.
Yeah, it's like a meta story about the show, which is really smart. Which is part of why I think the second one doesn't work as well, is because it's just kind of about like some weird thing. They do a concert, which is like insane.
I think the thing with sequels, despite no matter the genre, is it's always tough to find that thing that makes you like, when most movies start, like they're like humble, and now, by the end of the first movie, you've conquered the thing, and then if you pick up where that first movie left off, you're not vulnerable, because now you're like the fucking guys that won or beat the bad guy or whatever. And
do you know what the original idea they had? The Wayne's World 2, I believe, is the second version of that script, and the original one, I want to say, is about Wayne starting his own country.
Oh, that's funny.
I wonder if I can find
Interesting. Oh, it's probably worth pointing out too that I think Mike Myers wrote this script with Terry and Bonnie Turner, who went on to do I think a lot of stuff, but maybe I don't know if it's most famously, but certainly I know it the best. They did that '70s show, which I thought was a really good sitcom.
Okay, wait. Do you want to hear this? Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see. Apparently, Warren Michaels said that they just thought it was like too crazy. I think.
Oh, man. I mean, to see what does make it into 1 and 2 and say that some of it might not because it was crazy is intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I think you touched on something, though, and I think it's what makes, like, this, and I think I'm a big fan of his Austin Powers films, too. Like, and it's everything. I mentioned Naked Gun before. These movies kind of parody certain things, but they also have their own voice and jokes and characters.
Yes.
So, like, when spoof movies go bad, all they fucking do is rely on references, and who gives a fuck, right? So... like something like this, like it's like you can do the Grey Poupon commercial. If you don't get that, that's fine, because Wayne and Garth are still doing Wayne and Garth stuff. Whereas like when that spoof genre really hit the toilet about a decade ago, remember, it was just like, what if we just threw every movie that came out since the last one into a fucking blender, and then just like no nothing. Meanwhile, it's like I think things like there's jokes like Airplane is largely a parody of movies. I don't know, but it's like the really funny stuff is like the dialogue that could have been in The Naked Gun or something. It's Leslie Nielsen saying, it's clever wordplay stuff and shit like that. So yeah, I think that's important. Like to be silly doesn't really let you off the hook of like, doing something.
Real quick. Sorry, I just want to respond to this comment. Gamer McBaggin says, do you think a Wayne's World TV show or miniseries could work? I honestly don't think it would. I think they're way too old at this point. I think part of the appeal is that they're like these young guys in touch with this like 90s culture. And I don't know, they're old men.
There is something about that, like it's the wave. We're in that era of the late sequel where everyone, hey, here's your favorite here's your favorite movie. The main character's 25 years older, and he's got a daughter. Let's have fun. Let's have some fun with this. But also, he's got a daughter. He's got a daughter.
He does have a daughter. I have not seen Bill and Ted, the new Bill and Ted.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. I watched it again. Sometimes you gotta watch movies a few times before it stick, but I did remember enjoying it a lot. And then I think too, I was just gonna say too, that like I think it's funny when I think back about like Austin Powers, like me and all my friends in the 7th grade or whatever loved that shit. Like it's a parody of a bunch of James Bond shit that I did not understand, or even like I watch it back, it's like the 60s in general and the sort of culture and stuff like that. Like, but of course there was just like, but we all just liked like the fucking characters and the funny jokes and stuff like that. So that's what I think is the difference between these and some of the schlock.
I think that we could. Someone said that you and I can reboot Wayne's World, and I think that would be pretty good.
I think so. Would we play Wayne and Garth?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm the Garth, right?
If you want to be, can I
You're wearing-
can I still be Garth? I love this scene very much. This is the scene where they're laying on their car waiting for the airplane to like fly over them so they can feel the breeze.
Yeah.
One thing I've always loved about this is he says, "What are you thinking about?" And Garth says, "I was thinking about like what if." He just like randomly says like, "What if when Bugs Bunny would dress up as a woman, would you ever think she was kind of hot?"
Yeah.
And it's an improvised line, and Mike Myers just starts actually cracking up, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just because it feels so real.
I know. It's funny. As a kid, I always thought it was like extra. Like, why is he laugh so hard at that? Like, you know, did they write in the script that I thought that was funny? It's like, no, like it's great to know that it's a real thing.
Here,
And
hear it.
he tries to act through it.
It's so good. Neither did I.
Neither did I. And it's like you said too. It's one of these like, you know, I think when you watch movies, they make these like these, like you said, these worlds you want to hang out in, where it's just like what, they're just hanging out watching planes go over. Who does that?
It's just
Me and my
cool.
friends never do that. We would never think to.
Me and my friends we'd hang out on roofs late at night in high school. We'd climb public buildings and we'd hang out on the roof. And it has this kind of vibe of like, I don't know, just doing the stuff you're not supposed to do with your friends when you're in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever? Is this petty? Like, so this is a great scene where they're in like the rehearsal. I always thought Wayne looked so rough in this scene.
What do you?
Why
mean?
I don't know. It just doesn't like match the rest of the movie. He looks like Mike Myers was like partied out this day or something.
Yeah, I mean the wig is a little off. Maybe
I'm not trying to harp on.
I wonder if it's the
anything.
lighting.
It just
also like I never really noticed how tight Mike Myers' shirts are in this movie.
Yeah, dude. That's like he's ahead of his time stylistically. You know, like he could sing in a fucking hardcore band in the year 2000 or something. Like, dude, big time.
Oh man.
They do have a timeless kind of style to them too, just like long hair and band shirts. It might not ever be the coolest thing, quote unquote, but it's never going to be a bad idea, right? Always a thing.
Wearing a flannel with rolled up sleeves over a band shirt and ripped jeans is always going to be someone's style.
Yep.
I'm wearing a band shirt under a flannel and rolled up sleeves right now.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
What are you wearing? Jeff Rosenstock shirt.
Oh, lovely. Under a flannel. He's right. I'm going just flannel, but aforementioned punk ska hat. So
have you noticed that
we're doing our part.
Oh yeah, that's true. Everyone has been doing these parody like Midwest emo songs on Twitter recently.
Oh yeah.
And they're always wearing this exact flannel, and I can't help but unironically enjoy the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, that's funny when you hear
every time people do like a little parody, they're like, "Oh, every emo song sounds like this," and I'm like, "It sounds kind of good."
Yeah, like you're ripping off good bands, dude. That sounds sick.
they just do a bunch of twinkly stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm on board. The title is usually a sentence, a depressing sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. That was, speaking of emo in Wayne's World, this was not quite the last itch, but this is like the big rock and roll spectacle is dying off. You know what I mean? It's completely dead now, like bands and tour buses and stadia, like people say rock is dead. We can do that podcast sometime if you want, but like, it's still like, I don't know. It's almost like it hadn't quite come down to earth yet. There were still like rock stars and things like that. I really feel like this is that sort of the last hoorah, like these kind of partied out guys that you see, like.
I love that you keep calling them partied out.
I love that phrase.
I feel like that'd be a good name for a show or something.
Dude, I spent a lot of time in my life partied out.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but stand-up comedy.
Of course.
It's some partied out days and nights. Sometimes I would do my jokes, and I was already a little partied out. I know it's shocking.
Hey, they're in New York. That's where I live.
Hey, I love this bit. This is like early.
It's such a weird line that he says.
I got a gun. Let's go to a Broadway show. This is like early Zoom background bit.
It really is.
Pioneers right here, man. This was too, but if you want to do these bits, this was like in 1992. He's like, yeah, you had to drop a whole thing. You had to have a control room. We've come so far, haven't we?
We really have.
Oh, Joe's a little partied out right now. All right.
Yeah, dude.
That's what's up. It's the weekend, man. Friday. Well, it's
I'm going to go to Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
I love it.
So, Garth, how do you like being in a real studio?
Do you remember the first time you saw this movie? I don't ever.
I think in a car, probably.
Really?
I saw it many times.
What was the method in the car?
We had a DVD player in our car, and we would always watch movies on road trips and stuff.
This is our age difference. That's still a foreign concept to me, but it was like it's been a thing for a long, long time. But yeah.
Yeah. We had the movie Shrek.
I used to just try to play Game Boy and get car sick.
Yeah, I would throw up if I did that. The two movies that we had in the car were Shrek and Dodgeball most of the time, unless we like purposely brought something. So I saw those two movies. Like I've seen Dodgeball an absurd amount of times because of being in the car.
Were you over it, or were you like young enough that you were still just watching?
I loved it. I knew like every inch of that movie, and I really liked it. But it was weird that we saw it that many times. It wasn't. Sure. I was like, I mean, it was a good one to see. Dodgeball. I mean, as Ben Stiller says in the TV show Extras, it's layered, so you can watch it more than once.
They made it that way, or what's he say, right? we made it that way. He's so funny on Extras.
He's really good on Extras. That
one of the best.
Like fine,
it's a really good show.
But
I think
like
there's some really great moments.
Out,
yeah,
but Ricky Gervais now bothers me so much that I find it hard to get into.
I just cannot get over. Like, I think Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant together.
Yeah,
the things they get celebrities to do is unreal. The cameos, because it's also like the Johnny Depp stuff on Life's Too Short. And the Liam Neeson stuff on Life's Too Short.
Those are both really good too.
Them plus celebrity, and like, because then in Extras you get that amazing. The Ben Stiller thing's great. Daniel Radcliffe was really funny. David Bowie plays that amazing song about what a sad guy Ricky Gervais.
Oh, it's so good.
All that stuff is like, just give me that on a supercut.
I've also been like binge watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Ricky Gervais shows up in an episode of that, and he's really funny on it. He plays sort of like a dickhead. He's like doing a it's the season where they're in New York City. And Ricky Gervais has I love that Garth's dog has the same hair as him.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say the bracelets, and I thought you were gonna say the fact that they communicate.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot there.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Ricky Gervais is doing some dumb play, and Larry has to go to it. It's silly.
Oh, got it. Yeah. You know, too, I was thinking about this movie. Really like left a mark on, obviously like pop culture and stuff like that, but just like beyond even pop culture, just like the way like people say car whenever you're hanging out, like that's just out of Wayne's World. Like it's also like, it's good to let people know that a car's coming, but if you're ever playing, like, just like growing up, if we were playing, basketball or whatever in the street or something, it's like you do car in the Wayne's World way. You know what I mean? Just thinking about this scene right now is such like it's just embedded in like everyone I've ever known.
I have such a distinct memory.
You say car, then you say game on, even if you're not playing a game or something. It's just
I have such a distinct memory of someone doing a Wayne's World bit, like a parody, where then there's two Jamaican characters who say, "What are those guys talking about?" And the other guy says, "I don't know. They're talking about some game on." And I've never been able to find what that is. It's like some parody of Wayne's World that someone made probably like 20 years ago, and I'll never find it.
God, love to parody spoofs. That's great. That's a great one.
Parody of a parody. It's like when people did like "I'm on a boat" parodies.
Yeah. There's a great just physical gag here. She just eats fuck over this car.
It's really good. One of the first good getting hit by a car scenes, because she hits the car.
And she's okay.
Insane.
Game on.
I'm gonna say, and then like the knot thing, people said knot like crazy. It's just from this,
so did
just
Borat,
from this,
even Borat.
Right? That made it all the way into Borat. It's like the guy's like, oh, like culture is like, no, people have. I always thought that was like, is that a staged part of Borat? Why would the fucking guy say that? That people say knot. That hadn't been a thing for so long. Unreal.
Here's the hand scene. What's the background here, Mark?
So Rob Lowe is talking to Garth, and Garth is wearing a really crazy helmet with cameras and antennas on it, and he's working on what looks to be some robot. We just see an arm in a shirt and a robot humanoid-looking hand. And Garth, like, he's just talking to Garth about like changing the show and trying some new things. And Garth is just being very like, he's just obviously uncomfortable. I think whenever he has to talk without Wayne, but he's just being weird, and he starts working on the thing. And what always killed me as a kid, certain jokes would just get in my head.
With a hammer.
Certain jokes would get in my head, and I would just like think about like, why is this happening, and how funny is it that this is like, but the fact that like it's like he's working on this thing ostensibly to maybe have it do something, and the second it starts doing something, he just panics and starts whacking it with a hammer. The whole thing is absurd, of course, but just that idea of just like, what exactly is that what you feared would happen? Are you trying to make sure it doesn't come to life? I don't know. It's so fun.
So there was supposed to be a longer bit though.
I guess, or maybe it was even like other subplots or something, or maybe that was a scene that got cut down. But my recollection is that got better fleshed out, which kind of makes sense, I guess.
I also just real quick love that there's a fucking Twizzler dispenser on the roof of Wayne's car.
Let me see if I can find anything. Oh, they couldn't get Twizzlers, or maybe they just liked the red rope licorice.
Yeah.
Or is that a style or a brand? I guess in my head it was always a fake brand, but maybe that's just the style. Maybe that's just how you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's how you like your licorice cut. You don't want the black. I don't know. Opposite of rope. Fuck me up now.
There's a scene, I think it's in Wayne's World 2, where he's like driving his car really fast. Is it this one? Yeah. No. It's Wayne's World 2. He's driving his car really fast to like save Cassandra from
to stop the wedding or something,
and
right?
he's listening to music, and there's like cool action music playing, and it cuts out when he goes under a tunnel. And I don't know, for whatever reason that always stuck with me. It's just cool. It's not funny or anything.
I dig it. Yeah.
I just always liked it.
I don't know if this means anything. According to Dana Carvey, the robot that Garth is working on is being built to kill Benjamin. This is why the arm reaches for him when the two men discuss changes to the show. This is one of two references to the Terminator franchise, the other being Wayne pulled over by the T-1000. I don't know that those are necessarily related, but that's funny to think about.
This is such a good joke. I have never seen UHF.
I've seen it, but it's been forever. That's a very yeah, it would be a good one. It's a series of. I mean, there's a story, but it's also just like we were saying with this. Like, there's sketches, and I mean, but this is like it's Weird Al running a TV show, so it's built right in that you can just have a scene and then cut to a commercial for Spatula City or something.
The only reason I wouldn't want to do it for this is because I literally know nothing about it, so I don't know if we would be able to talk about it.
You would just be absorbing the film. Yeah, there's very young Michael Richards in there.
Hey, no Stairway to Heaven. I love that Dana Carvey plays not guitar, drums for real in this scene. He's just like a good drum player. UHF is Weird Al's movie from the 80s. It was the 80s.
I think it's the 80s, yeah. I think they even have like some of his music videos might just kind of pop up in there, like the Money for Nothing thing. I don't know, it's been too long.
This is Dana Carvey playing.
Dana Carvey's a musical man. I sent you that clip before. He was playing his guitar at a stand-up special, and he had the famous piano broccoli bits.
Oh, yeah. Broccoli.
I just looked, and folks, we talked about this. I forget if it was on the air or not. Jeremy figured out how to bump up our stream, by the way. We are looking good this week. No one noticed that our things are up, our bits? I don't even know what you said. Sorry, I got distracted by the clarity there. It looks like I'm in front of Stan Mikita's Donuts.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm in Wayne's basement. It looks like Wayne's basement.
You son of a bitch. You know, I recently, I really have a fascination with like bad licensed video game adaptations. I did boot up Wayne's World on the Super Nintendo recently.
That's so fun.
It was rough. It was rough. I always want them to be secretly good, and
but they're not quite.
Once in a while, yeah. It was one of those games. There's these games from that era. I like a platformer game a lot, but it was like this platformer game. It's almost like I liked like the Star Wars ones from that era, but it's almost like too big. Like it's like a platform game, but I'm just in the middle of this level and I don't know where I'm supposed to go. No one's told me what to do. I think I'm Wayne in the guitar store, and that's what made me think of it right there. Like I'm strumming the guitar and shooting out things, but I'm just surrounded by enemies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mark has played the Home Improvement game.
I streamed it on this channel years ago, but I did play the Home Improvement game.
I've never played any of these games.
I think I want to either play them on stream, or it'd be really funny to just like get good at one. I want to get like the world record for the fucking Bebe's Kids video game.
Oh, just real quick,
whatever scene licensed stuff.
The scene hits a little bit different now. They are doing a major advertisement.
This is what everyone brought this up after that commercial, but this is just such a funny, and like 30 Rock does it too, of just like the thing where you kind of do product placement but make fun of it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's real.
That's what I wonder. Where it's like, right, exactly. It's like you, and I don't care if they did.
No.
First of all, it's funny, and second of all, it's not cheap to make these things.
Yeah.
We can't all be Monty Python and have fucking Pink Floyd give us money to make our cool movies.
the long take of him and all Reebok stuff is so funny.
It's like a headband under his hat. These headache commercials, I remember, it cuts to black and white. This was like a whole thing. Nuprin didn't survive. They got edged out by like the Advils of the world, huh?
Yeah, Advil is kind of.
Rob Lowe is funny with just that. What the hell is going on? What is going on in front of me right now?
It's so good. This movie's so silly.
And it's the choice of a new generation.
I do wonder. That's a good point. Do you think the scene paid for the whole movie? It very well could
I hope
have.
so.
It could have.
I bet Lauren paid for it. That guy's rich.
Yeah.
I like that my subtitle says imitating Paul McCartney. All right.
What?
Oh, here's the Why Do They Come to Me to Die.
Anything wrong, David?
Yeah. I got paid today.
Oh, yeah, I know what that's like.
No, you don't understand. They laid me off. I got one of these.
I know how that feels.
You know what I like to do?
Yeah, I know what you'd like to do. You'd like to find the guy that did it. Rip his still beating heart out of his chest and hold it in front of his face. So you can see how black it is before he dies.
Actually, I was thinking about filing agreements with the union.
Yeah, well, the world's a twisted place. It's such a funny line to that.
I'm so glad that scene's in the movie because it just cuts away from Wayne and Garth to be there and then cut back. You know, it establishes
so
nothing.
fucking
We
funny.
already know that this guy's a weird dark man. You know,
And it doesn't end up being anything. Like the guy who lost his job, I don't think that he comes back.
Right. They plant other things. You're right. They plant seeds in these donut shop scenes of like the Scooby-Doo ending and stuff. But yeah, you're right. I think it's just there. And Ed O'Neill just is so good. I think he's like an actor guy that kind of famously was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do a sitcom. And then he got Al Bundy, and we all know him as Al Bundy, but he was like an intense theater actor before that. And you see it in this, you know, like.
Yeah.
Why do they come to me to die?
Do you think?
Why do they come to me to die?
When Garth gets knocked out of the table because he sees the hot girl, is that him getting a boner?
Oh, I don't know.
I never really thought about that.
I guess I always thought it was like the whoosh, just whatever
too.
metaphysical sort of thing. You know what's really funny? You know, a movie I watched
Foxy
recently.
lady thing.
Have you ever watched Blank Man?
No.
No, it's really funny, and he gets a few boners in that movie that are really.
Oh, I
funny.
believe it.
Damon Wayans getting some funny boners.
Dana
in
Carvey's
Blank Man.
dancing is so funny in this scene.
It's like really, it looks like a weird like animation or something. It's all like herky jerky.
It's very weird.
They were, I don't know. I guess that you're right. It's the point that you're not supposed to know, but just like how old are these men?
Yeah, you're not supposed. It's a big question mark.
Yeah. But I like that. I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you saw. I think last night some people online were talking about like It Follows, how
Yeah.
like the technology in that movie is intentionally not to a specific era. So they didn't do it so much with character ages, but more just like what time. And it's just like, yeah, when you see someone on like the first iPhone that ever came out in a movie, it really kind of breaks the reality or makes you start thinking about, oh, clearly this was then, and it's not just this like timeless story, which we can watch Wayne's World now, and it's just timeless because they're not on iPhone ones.
The opposite version of that is Uncut Gems, where it's so specifically
Yeah.
based around like 1 week of time.
That's right. But that was cool because that was intentional by way of it's still like it was a period piece. What's the definition of a period piece? Uncut Gems is a period piece.
Uncut Gems is a period piece. It is. They had to find like the Safdie brothers found like a specific set of games that would work for. Because originally it wasn't going to be
like
Kevin
the score
Garnett.
of a real basketball game.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it's
Who was
amazing.
the original one, I can't think of who it was. It was a Knicks player who is Jewish. So like the idea was like, I can't think of who it was. Original Uncut Gems. Basketball player. I like that we can kind of like not talk for a bit and you can just hear funny Wayne's World jokes.
Yeah, he looks weird without his hat, doesn't he? You can tell they're having an intimate moment because he's laying in bed without his hat.
Yeah. Oh, it was Amari Stoudemire, who is Jewish.
Wow.
Or like part Jewish.
That could have been interesting. But what?
But
So they
he
wanted to
didn't
do that,
want
but there was.
He didn't. So he grew out his hair, and when the movie was going to take place, he didn't have that hair, so they wanted him to shave his head, and he didn't want to do it.
Wow. Damn. I wonder how he grew to feel about that once the movie came and went.
Yeah. They talked about it on the Chapo podcast when they were on it.
Interesting. Man, well, Kevin Garnett coming in off the bench. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad, but I just saw the Jerry from Jerry and the Pacemakers died somewhat recently, and I thought of this joke and I felt bad. Or this maybe it's later on.
It's also
all
weird
this.
seeing Mike Myers in his underwear.
I know. I don't like to know that Mike Myers has a butt.
Hey man, we're pushing butts.
Oh boy. I do like all the movie stuff, like gratuitous sex scene. That was a little bit lost on me as a kid, and like
Yeah.
Oscar-nominated performance and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There's good stuff there. Reminds me a little bit. Naked Gun 33 and a third does funny stuff because it's like at the Oscars. So they have a lot of fun movie
I gotta watch
references.
that. I've only seen the first one.
Yeah.
Is this the one? Does he say the cream of some young guy in this?
Yeah, I think so. He pops out and is getting an order here.
Oh, is this also the one where where Jonathan explains the difference between sparkling wine and champagne? I feel like that has become a huge meme, and I don't know if this is the original version.
I'm the same. Where it's like it's certainly the first place I ever heard that. Maybe it's a thing snobby people were always saying, and this was the first time it got out there. You know, like in a
yeah. And then also, did Wayne's World originate? That's what she said.
Oh, I sure think so. And that's I have feelings about that.
I give it credit for that because people say it's The Office.
No, of course not. I think when people say that's what she said, I get so unreasonably annoyed.
Do you really? That's so funny.
Yeah, because it's just like, and I try not to be like Mr. Chip on your shoulder. Hey, I actually write jokes, so you should try harder. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's the idea that like the people that say it are always kind of dorks, and like it just became a thing that everyone thinks they're being clever. When it's like, do you realize that like the Michael Scott character is sort of like a dummy? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like. It's like we're changing the thing where like it's funny when I don't know.
I got you.
It's like a fucking little Cliff Notes thing. And also I don't like the stretches we're making on it. Like I don't like that I have to think like, oh great, I just used the word hard in a sentence. Buckle up. We're gonna get, you know.
It is always when people say hard times jokes to us about penises. It's like we get it.
Oh, like the heart, yeah.
Wow, Tiffany
Yeah.
Pollard says apparently that's what she said was a thing in the 1920s.
Wow.
I always thought sex was invented in the 40s.
No, but who do you think had those people? People that fucked in the 20s.
I want to give a shout out to two jokes of this. One, I really like when Garth reads the diary and sees that it says in it like "fuck over small time show."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Ugh, feel bad for those guys."
Yeah.
And then I also really like that when fucking Jonathan says the pretentious thing about wine, Wayne compares it to Star Trek.
That's
The
right.
Next Generation. It's just
That's
like
right.
that's such a relatable thing. Like I could see myself at a party doing that, being like, "Oh yeah, it's just like Star Trek."
Yeah. Oh.
Ironically, I'd probably say it about Wayne's World too.
Yeah, that's right. In many ways, yeah, it's funny. That's what we said before. In many ways, it's good, but it won't compare to the original.
They don't
Right?
have to compare to the original. We love too, but it's no
Love it.
fun.
That's absolutely true. Oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I like Garth not having a drink.
Some young guy. Yeah, he doesn't have.
Garth doesn't have a drink, but he cheers.
Is he even 21?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's like with the age thing too. Like Garth finds condoms and goes, ew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he just got his pubes.
That's true. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to tell us.
That's the beginning of the movie. They explain that he
that's
hasn't
right.
gotten his pubes yet, or is that the second one?
And the second one, he's like catching you up on everything.
Yeah.
They moved into their loft. Garth got his pubes. What was I gonna say? Oh, when I saw it, I don't know if it was on any of her specials before or not, but I saw Tig Notaro years ago, one of my very favorites. And she did a funny bit where she's talking about that's what she said, how she likes to do it, but like do it in a folksy way when someone's just like, yeah, this thing's all hard and it got wet. I like just go, well, that's what she said. People look at me, I think I'm doing it wrong. That is what she said.
That's funny. Tig
That's a funny
Notaro
one.
is funny.
She's a funny one.
I always loved her album Live.
Dude, I watched her, and I think it's on stuff, but just watching her push a stool around a stage.
That's a great bit. One of the best bits.
I saw it live. Like, this is...
One of the You saw the stool live?
Yeah, and I didn't know it before that. I saw...
That rules.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's done that joke so many times.
Oh, my God. And it's just... And you can tell, like... I don't know. It has to just kill... Everyone needs to go on YouTube or whatever, or and watch Tig Notaro pushing a stool around. I think she's done it, like, on Conan before. It's just what it sounds like, only it's funnier than you realize it could be.
Yeah, go look it up. It's great.
Good shit. Good soundtrack on this movie, by the way.
I was about to say,
Good tunes, front to back. Crucial Taunt feels like a real kind of band.
they
you know
do
what I
feel
mean?
like a real
it's-
band. I want to listen to them.
Yeah, it's tough, I think, when you have, I don't know, I think like Crucial Taunt, maybe the Wonders from that thing you do. There's a handful of bands that feel like a real band, you know?
Gamer McBaggins. I also hope we
I
don't get
know.
DCMA'd.
Yeah.
Is it DMCA'd? Whatever.
I don't know what it stands for,
Digital
so I can't.
Millennial Copyright Act or something like that.
I don't see what our age has to do with it.
We did a bit at Comic-Con where we gave people DMCA notices for their costumes.
That's funny. Did anyone take not kindly to it?
Yes. This one guy in character as Kingpin refused to break character for it and was not happy about it.
That's great. Oh, here's like the ultimate bit I didn't get as a kid, but they just stop and do the Laverne and Shirley opening.
Yeah, I fully didn't get this as a kid, but I just thought it was silly.
It's silly. It's fun. It's just, yeah.
We did dress up as lawyers, Gamer McBaggins. It's on YouTube. I love this bit. It's so silly. Because again, like it doesn't feel like the movie doing a parody. It feels like Wayne and Garth doing a parody.
Right, because they even go, wait, what are we doing? Like they become
like
aware. Like,
if I was hanging out with my friends, we went on a road trip, we would do a bit like this.
It always made me so happy that the glove goes by.
Yeah.
That they hang it on a thing, on a beer bottle and go that. Oh, I know a bit of trivia about this scene. This is one.
Pizza guy?
What's that?
Is this the one with the pizza guy?
I don't know what you mean.
Where they have a pizza guy. They go backstage by traveling, but with stage diving, and they get a pizza delivered.
Oh, I don't know.
It might be this one. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't like that. Is that in one of these?
Yeah. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
No.
There's a scene where they, you know how like people like when you stage dive, like people will like make you travel across the stage like with their hands up. They do that with a pizza delivery guy.
Okay. With a pizza pie?
Yeah, he delivers the pizza.
Okay.
It's a great bit.
My man. So
it might be in two. It might be in two.
Right on. So they're at the Alice Cooper concert that they have backstage passes to, and he comes out and he plays a song called "Feed My Frankenstein," which was his like new. So that was his thing. They wanted him to come do like I don't know if it was like "No More Mr. Nice Guy" or one of his hits. He was like, "I'll do it, but I'm gonna play the new single." So that's why we got this song that you never really heard again. You know.
As a kid, I didn't know the words.
Cause I think that's another thing too. All these bands that they like, and I don't know if this is intentional or I don't think anyone really was concerned with this, but all these bands like the Motley Crues and Alice Coopers. This is the '90s. This is like when grunge is kind of famous to killing it off. So like this is not a hit of Alice Cooper's. This was him like one of his last, maybe not trying to knock anyone, but just saying where it's just like I think like the door was closing on this kind of rock star stuff, But so. And now we meet Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's great,
dude. He showed up in a lot more. Like it's too bad we only got a handful of leading performances, but he gave us a lot of great little cameos in movies. He's a guy.
The thing with this is like Chris Farley. None of the lines in this are funny.
No, exactly. But just watch him move his body. Watch what he brought to it. You're exactly right. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like,
He's
there's such a short list of people that can make me laugh by just kind of standing there.
He's just an actual genius, like a physical comedy genius.
100%. 100%. A heartbreaking tale, all of that. You watch his old like Letterman clips where he just comes out doing fucking somersaults, and but then he's also like clearly nervous, like he's just a big kid. Oh, God.
Also, They help it too. Like he's doing a great job, but the way that they like shake every time he does something is very funny.
Yes.
And then the way they call it out, they're like, "Huh, that was interesting. I wonder if that'll come into play later on in the movie." Is great.
Yeah. And since we're talking about Chris Farley, I will say that I love Tommy Boy. I think Black Sheep is a bit uneven, but Penelope Spheres. Penelope Spheres. Did you see Black Sheep ever? No. Okay. It'd be weird if you saw that one. I think. I'd be curious what you thought of it first time because they're these formative growing up movies, but it's also Chris Farley. Black Sheep has a really great scene where Chris Farley gets stoned and actually ends up on stage talking to people. But I don't want to say too much. But I recently watched it. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah. I think you get Rob Lowe and Tommy Boy too. So lest you worry. Hey, what's Garth wearing? Did you notice that?
No. Let me see.
Oh, now they cut to a closer shot. No. If you could see like where his belt buckle would be, it almost looks like he's got one of his electric shock people gadgets on. I've never noticed that before. I swear.
I love Alice Cooper knowing a lot about Milwaukee. It's so funny.
Look at what's he wearing.
Hey, I don't know what he's wearing.
But yeah, and his band asking questions. That's right.
Which is Algonquin for the good land. I was not aware of that.
I think one of the most interesting.
Didn't Alice Cooper want to do this bit? Is that the story behind this?
I'm not sure. There was a thing. I forget what it is, but he's certainly like we're talking about kind of like funny things to do when you get someone to do a cameo.
I love that. They're the only city to have elected 3 socialist mayors.
We gotta get going.
Does this guy know how to party or what?
Hang out with us.
Maybe I'm wrong too. We'll keep throwing these out and keep getting corrected in the chat, but the we're not worthy kind of bow in the presence of someone you're a fan of and overwhelmed with. Did they pioneer that? Because people do it. People do it like in wrestling shows. They do it. It's just
It's
like
so
a
good.
kind of
I
a
love
thing,
that he
you
does
know?
the kiss the ring thing. We're scum. I always forget that line. That's the line that
We're
like
scum.
never gets said. We're
Yeah.
scum.
We're scum. Yeah.
I really hope Cassandra's watching.
Incredible ADR. Good job.
I didn't know for years too. Just as we're talking about sort of the perceptions of this movie, Gonchorn just said I always thought this was Alice Cooper's biggest song because it was in Wayne's World.
Yeah,
It's
I didn't
certainly,
know.
I think we all know it because of Wayne's World, but I don't know if it had a life outside of this or not. Or I mean,
Yeah.
it does in the fact that we all remember it, I suppose. But I didn't know for years that Ballroom Blitz was like an existing song.
Yeah.
That's a cover they do at the end. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
a fucking ripper of a song, dude. They wrote this shit for Wayne's World.
Holy
Like,
shit,
oh my
someone's
god.
covering Cassandra's band.
Yeah, exactly. Then you hear the ripping ass real version of it one day, and you're like, "Whoa, this band covered the Wayne's World." It's like that's so cool. And just you realize you just know nothing at all.
That's really great.
Can I borrow your marker?
I wonder if the other Crucial Taunt songs are covers.
I think they're all covers, right? I don't think there's any original
Probably.
songs in this.
Probably. Yeah, Ballroom Blitz by Sweet, released in 1974. If you ask Mark Roebuck, it came out in 1992.
It is fun to imagine.
Co-written
that they
by
were-
Dana Carvey.
These guys were like a rising band, but they never wrote any songs.
I guess.
They just
Hey,
did
if you have the
covers?
look, although I almost just said you're in LA, they're not. They're in the Midwest, so I
That's
don't
true.
even know. I don't even know if there's the big.
3.
Yeah, I guess like as a kid. So now they're about to launch their show, and it's really funny where they get like the, hey, it's Party On, Wayne and Garth, and it's Noah's Arcade presents Wayne. And it's the real like sanitized, lame version. As a kid, I didn't get why they were like so bummed out about it because I didn't really.
I mean,
fucking
it's
know
pretty
any-
bad. The intro is
It's pretty
awful.
bad. It's really awful. Yeah.
I definitely
I
feel like
guess-
I've related to this movie so much more as an
Oh,
adult, just from
yeah.
like the comedy experiences we've had.
Of course. Of course.
It's
Yeah.
hard
Of
drive.
course. I know. And you're just like, what the? You're making us be lame. Like,
No one has ever made us be lame.
we do that.
never done
ourselves.
anything lame.
Hello.
Don't look anything.
I do like Joe's saying he likes the Ballroom Blitz Wayne's World version, but I think I do too. But maybe there's always that thing where you're a little partial to the one you've heard or something, or like the one that's older feels off or
Yeah, I
something.
feel
But I definitely give me Crucial Taunt, man. This is a legendary scene where he's writing stuff on the cards. I told you before, so there's one ending that makes me that as a kid really made me sad, and then I always got really sad for Garth here.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
That would have to do with that limited skirmish in the middle.
But yeah, it is interesting too because I don't know how much of this was like on the brains of the authors of this movie, but is it like the idea of doing a Wayne's World movie is kind of selling out, so the whole movie kind of deals with this.
Yeah, I think so.
Like we're trying to kind of test the waters of selling out and doing it in our own way.
So funny. He blows goats. I mean, so the weird thing is that Wayne. I don't know anything about like the truth. This man doesn't know penis. I don't know anything about like how Mike Myers feels about this. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Myers is just like I love money and money's cool. But he started this character as a kid, right? Like he did this character. Garth is his brother or whatever. And
Oh, I don't even know
like,
that.
These are all based on like his family. And he'd been doing this character all through Second City, Chicago, I think.
Okay.
And eventually gets brought to SNL, and he starts doing it on SNL with Garth, with Dana Carvey. So I wonder if there's any sort of like an NBC feeling to like
Yeah.
because he did do that. He literally took this character from like a small Chicago guy to the big NBC
right
thing. I don't know.
and they make it the It's funny that it's right because if you were mad about it, I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, like,
We're only
Wayne's
here
World,
because
the
it
movie
happened.
is I think one of my favorite movies ever. So I mean, obviously it worked out.
Yeah. I do think it's that marriage of like Mike Myers and Terry and Bonnie Turner are so funny, and Penelope Sphere is just
Yeah.
like, I think the
Knowing her punk background makes it make a lot more sense.
and even just like making fucking live music, like the music in this movie is good, the performance scenes and stuff. Like she had shot.
Yeah, they're
in a
not
lot of
really in
clubs.
the next one, are they?
Not really. They go to see Aerosmith at the very beginning. Even that feels different because it's like a concert. Maybe that's where they do the stage dive thing. Now that we are talking about it.
Yeah, maybe.
But then at the end it's like Wayne stock, so it does loses its street cred, man.
The original
Festivals.
sketches weren't that music related. Like it was just
yeah.
like guys. Like I remember there's like that
liked-
great drunk driving one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like about
they would
like
do-
music.
They
They
would kinda
had
just
they
goof-
did
goof-
have who was on it? Was it Aerosmith was on the sketch?
Yes, and Tom Hanks. That's such
Mm-hmm.
a good one. He does the famous mic check and says sibilance. It's funny stuff.
It's a good sketch.
Yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, I think they were just like they would do a lot of cold opens with Wayne's World and stuff, and it would just be
Yeah.
like now they just sort of do it in a lazier way of just like whatever the news is. We're just playing the news instead of like here's Wayne's World reacting to the news.
would be
which is
cool.
at least, like
Wayne's World it was just a good recurring sketch.
yeah. So they would just do like top 10 thing, and it would have something to do with Bill Clinton or something. And it was
Mm-hmm.
fun, Yeah, I don't know.
I remember at the 40th anniversary they did their favorite movies of the year, and they kept giggling over Winter's Bone.
That's fun. Yeah, that's fun. There's certain characters, I think of Wayne and Garth, and I think of Beavis and Butthead, that are just like, it's like that's not like they've been doing some version of that bit, but it's still funny when it's
Yeah.
something new, like Winter's
Yeah,
Bone. That's
you can
funny,
filter anything through
it. Yeah,
They kept
exactly.
being like Winter's Bone and then giggling.
Yeah.
Like I was on board.
It's great. It's amazing. Just like they announced a new Beavis and Butthead movie, and yeah, if it's Mike Judge, I'm there.
The bit with Warren was really funny on the 40th. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like they were talking to like the audience, and they're like giving a round of applause for Warren, and they're like saying it like to the camera. They keep being like, "And you guys would love him. He's a great dude. You got to meet him. You'd love Warren."
That's funny. They've done a few of those in my life. I think it was 25 or 30 a big one too. Those SNL reunion shows. I was complaining about that online a little bit the other day, of just how SNL 40 that was fine, but it's like, man, we can't celebrate everything's every 5 years.
40 is
I
a little
can't.
bit-
We're
is a
doing
little
the
much.
we're doing the
35
fucking we're doing the
for Pokemon.
15s, 35s. Get the fuck out of here. That's like everything always, every single
Yeah.
day. Oh my god, did you know Emilio Estevez turned 55? Okay, why?
I mean, my theory is that the reason they did 40 is because like people are wondering how long Warren is going to be working on this show.
Yes, but
Because Warren might not get to do a 50th.
Yeah,
He's pretty old, that guy, and he's
true.
working forever.
I wish they would just acknowledge that. They would just say that Lord might be dead soon. So here we.
Or retired.
What happens if Lord Michaels retires from SNL?
They're gonna
They
have to
just put-
replace him. People always want like Tina Fey or something.
Oh, it'd be like Colin Jost though.
Honestly, yeah, probably.
It'd be great.
What else is that guy gonna do?
I don't know. Eat fucking vanilla pudding over the sink like a boring asshole. I don't know.
I like vanilla pudding.
Yeah, I do too. I do a lot. That's why it's
No,
on my
no, I'm
brain.
with
I'm
you,
gonna
though.
have one when this is over. Over the sink like a boring asshole.
I don't want to use a plate. Waste a plate on that?
You think that's the way I get a gig?
Well, first he screws me, then he screws you. It's Dutch door action.
Also, too, like, so yeah, I know I keep saying this, but like, this movie is obviously so silly, but as a kid, there were things that got to me. Like I was sad
sad.
when he bailed on Garth, and I'm so sad when he comes out here and he's like,
He's a
I got
dick.
my fucking show back. But then the camera kind of runs away, and
I
yeah,
bet you it also helps here that a woman directed this movie where Wayne is clearly the villain of that scene.
yeah, right. That's a good point. And I think there's there's a craft here, like the filmmaking where like you're walking this line of literally it's like 1
Yeah.
minute the most ridiculous, it's a Terminator parody, or he's talking to the camera the next minute. You're like, oh fuck, poor
It's-
Wayne or poor
it's-
Garth, or you know.
It's like the most
Poor camera.
surreal movie. It's incredibly surreal and absurd, and also very down to earth.
Yeah. And I think that is the thing of like Penelope Spheres makes these movies where she interviews the 14-year-old kid who's begging for change and has a mohawk, but is also like, but what's your story, man? Like, I'm not just gonna like, I don't know, you're a whole ass person, you know?
I love
It's-
this
I think-
donut man.
If you just describe this part to someone, or the last part I should say, but like this guy, goddamn. It's like,
Stab a bit of the donut.
just insane, these scenes. I think they just had a lot of fun with these scenes, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe
I wonder if
coming
they
up with
just let him improvise.
Then it's funny. I never really caught that. They pan out and Ed O'Neill's talking about it seems like he's just talking to two people that don't necessarily want to be having a talk.
No.
Like two other people. He's in between two guys. Just
Oh, there's
bullshit.
the laid off guy again. He's still here.
Yeah, maybe that just explains why he's in every scene. Looking miserable. I think he just joins him up. Like he joins up with him.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure he's
you know,
like, I'm sure he like is involved.
He's around.
It's just like you don't need it. There's not really any payoff.
Of course. And I guess this guy's around because then he penetrates Rob Lowe later, the cop.
Yeah, he does like a strip search or something.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird.
Love a good strip search bit in a 90s comedy.
Yep.
There's a running run in the Beavis and Butthead movie. It's just, you know.
Yep.
Alien anal probe humor was like aliens and anal probes were hand in hand. You couldn't talk about one without the other. And I always heard all these fucking jokes about anal probes, and I was like, I've never heard someone just talking about an anal probe. Why did we start joking about anal probes?
Yeah, it's weird. It's very
not
weird.
comfortable.
Oh, I love this bit. I love this bit.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about?
the ninja training or whatever.
Yeah, he opens the door of the diner, and there's a huge warehouse that's dark and smoky, filled with all these ninjas with like flamethrowers, like training, and then he just closes the door and it's never mentioned again.
In the back again of Stan Mikita's Donuts.
It's just keep out on the door. It's so fun.
Yeah, I like that they do have. It's almost like they have powers. This is like some meta,
Yeah.
you know, WandaVision or something where they're aware of the world that they're in. Where it's
They're
like
the
I've always wanted
original
I've always wanted to open this door, and he just knows he's gonna be back there. They dictate the different endings of the movie and stuff like that. You know, it's fun.
I love that he implies he like has talked to the girl.
Garth, the ladies expert, all of a sudden, who's like terrified of the
I also love
just-
the wait a minute bit.
Yeah. That's what I mean. All these movies, like when I think of this and I think of like Austin Powers and stuff, there's just like these great little character moments that this would be funny. And I mean, it's very good because it's like true to the character, but it's also just very funny. This would just be funny in anything. Like I was watching Austin Powers and that fucking gag where he's just trying to turn the little Jeep around in a narrow hallway. Put that in any movie and it's funny. You know?
Yeah.
Aren't we lucky we were there to get all that information? It seemed extraneous at the time.
I also like Garth's science mumbo jumbo bit here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then and I like the way, you know, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but the way that they do things, like, you know, they planted the seed and they follow back. We're like, oh yeah, you know, you got to wonder if this information is going to pay off. It kind of becomes like a little cheat sheet to watch other movies and realize when they're like lazy or stupid, you know, of like doing the stuff sort of unironically. And just like heavy exposition and stuff like that. So it's a funny thing of like, I probably do it a lot with hard drive articles, like make fun of a thing, but then that's also just my smoke screen for doing it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. And it worked. They do it well.
Right. I like that thing on top of Stan Mikita's Donuts moves around. I don't think I ever
It's
noticed
so
that.
weird.
And did they build an animatronic hockey player just to scooch around on top of the roof of the donut shop?
I don't know.
Oh man.
Okay, this is a take, everybody.
This is funny too, like the complete, like you're making the complete stupid like over budgeted, you're playing a music video, like you're playing on the waterfall on the rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just big stupid snake and they're wearing caveman clothes.
Yeah, she's got a real snake on her.
Yeah. For distraction. No.
Mark Granato's band.
Me? And on Twitch is like, I don't know. Like,
I wouldn't
gives
care.
us-
I really wouldn't care.
like I said, it gives us a little clout.
I know, right?
Then what did we say was did we say we're gonna do a different show or something? I forget what we said.
Yeah, we're gonna start our new show, Partied Out, where we talk
Partied
Wayne's World
Out.
every episode.
Yeah.
We just watch Wayne's World every episode.
We're banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
The snake weighs a ton.
It looks great.
I love the film gag later. We
Yeah,
both know
when he
there's no
opens it up and it just
it's
keeps
such a
going.
such a last ditch effort. Where it's like I see everything's falling apart. It's almost like the last, yeah.
Oh, here's the Terminator bit.
Terminator bit. We stopped for Terminator on the way.
You
There's
gotta
not
do
too
a
many,
Terminator
like
bit.
they don't really make movies like this where it's not all the way a spoof, but there's like a few, or you know, maybe
Yes.
have they or do they? I can't really think of anything.
No, they really
recently
don't.
where
I
it's
mean,
like,
people have
you're
been
either
talking
all in
about,
or you're not. You
have
know?
you seen Barb and Starb go to whatever the fuck?
Is that with Kristen Wiig?
Yes.
I did
it's
not
this
see
new
it.
movie that just came out. It's like very silly.
I've heard it's like
people are kind of saying it's a little like Austin Powersy.
I heard it was just sort of styled like a '90s comedy, whatever that
Yes.
means. Cool. Well, I'm
It's
interested.
purely silly. I did not like it very much. It just didn't work for me. But a lot of people really loved it, and I love that someone made a silly comedy. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
appreciate that it existed. So I think it's cool and you should check it out. But I
Right,
didn't.
what-
The jokes didn't work that well for me.
What platform is it on? How may one watch it? Or do I own it on Blu-ray? Do I own it on Bluray already?
You already own it on Blu-ray.
Oh, I love that. That's
I think
awesome.
it's like $20 on Amazon, but also it's
Oh.
$0 if you steal it.
Oh. Oh. I think I paid $20 for Bill and Ted earlier in the year,
Yeah,
and I got Bill and Ted for that. To be
yeah,
fair.
that's true.
I don't.
Well, you
what
can
are
get
these two's
Star.
names?
You get Star.
I don't
and
know
Barb.
them. I don't know Star and Barb. I know Bill and Ted.
Their
No
names are
offense.
short for Starbra and Barb. That's their bit, not mine.
So hey, look, I like movies like that. I like Thelma and Louise. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Kristen Wiig plays the villain in it as well. That's why it's kind of Austin Powersy.
Oh, as well. So she's both. Love
Yeah.
it. Love it. And then if they make another one, she'll play one more character every time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Of course. Her music.
I like this. So that. Where's the band? Hi, Wayne. Very casual.
I didn't see you there.
It just blows up for him. There's a few things like Wayne really like takes a lot of L's in this segment of the movie. You know, he harps. He scares the camera away. He makes a big ass of himself here.
Gary McBagan says, "Am I seeing the pay gap between Jeremy and Mark, where Jeremy has to obtain and Mark doesn't care about cost?" To be fair, Mark, I paid for this movie, and Mark has the DVD.
Yeah, I think that's a different gap between us that we learned about.
I love how much fucking
potential
film.
memory loss or something.
Wayne wastes I think thousands of dollars of film.
Yeah, and that would be all just unusable, right?
It's so funny.
Seems like such a pain in the ass. I know it was the standard forever, but film is like, oh, it's cool and everything.
Oh, here's
but,
a boner
if
joke.
some Yahoo takes off your fucking camera, you're done. Oh yeah, he's poking her with his dick right there.
He really is.
Gross, Rob. You know she's over 20.
Oh my god.
I know I don't have his money. I know I don't
We're gonna be. Let's get Rob Lowe canceled.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm trying to get Seinfeld canceled. People are crediting me with that, which I think is fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Patrick Dempsey on the show.
I would love to talk to that guy. Chloe didn't follow through for us.
You know, what can we? I can't fault someone for being unable to do what I
It's true,
cannot
it's
do
true.
myself. You know,
Having a computer in 1992, is that impressive? I don't really know.
I think so. I really like the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick. That's like
That's a
1985
goofy
or
one.
86. Matthew Broderick, you could tell he played cool characters because he always had a computer in his bedroom in the 80s.
That's true.
You know, or no, I think he has a synthesizer, and he's always got something though. You know what I mean? In Ferris Bueller, he's got a bunch of
Put Garth Bell at his keys. Garth, you
Yeah.
goof.
But yeah, the computer. Where does I guess they live with their parents. Is there any explanation to where they get their money in this?
It's
Well, I guess
unclear if they even
Wayne
live with
said
their
he-
parents.
Well, yeah, Wayne said he had a lot of part-time jobs, but yeah, you're right. It looks like a suburban
just
home,
live in a
so
home.
you assume they look like they have bedrooms in suburban homes, but maybe
Yeah.
that's all their home. You know,
I never understood this pralines and dick joke as a kid.
mm-hmm.
This is one of the jokes where I knew that people liked it, but I didn't
Yes.
get why.
I think
I
I'm the same.
also always very much liked that he uses the flashlight as a gun.
That's right. They all put their hands up.
They all put their hands up, and then Garth takes out the batteries.
Yeah.
Benjamin's my friend.
Yeah, I think it's like there were certain ice cream flavors. Yeah, that is right. He takes out the batteries like it's the ammo. That's so
It's
funny.
really good. The way he does it is so fast. Like he takes
like-
it like he's
yeah.
like unloading a gun.
It's like he trained for this scene. You know.
It's okay.
It's okay.
He's gonna be okay.
Oh, that's so good.
Hi.
I also like that the guy tells him he loves him. Oh, what a movie.
It's all coming home here. It is all it's one of those things too. It's satisfying in a comedy. You should always be funny, but they do a lot of work while they're being funny all the time. They spend a lot of time setting things up in the beginning to sort of fall down at the end, you know, characters and jokes and stuff like that. And it's like pretty masterfully constructed, I would say.
Yeah.
Not unlike how Ben Stiller constructed Dodgeball, you know.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is really the original Dodgeball.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Dodgeball today?
Dodgeball today. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I
Is
did
it
like it a lot.
Like, yeah. Do you think you would still like it if you watched it?
I don't know. Maybe we should watch it on the podcast.
Maybe. I think we had it on kind of like while we were like, you know, playing games in the house, doing something else.
It's a very character-heavy movie. It's probably the biggest character Ben Stiller has done outside of like Zoolander, but maybe even more.
It's up there for sure. I mean, it's got a really good cast. You know, good people. I like Stephen Root. He's like one of my very favorite.
I love Stephen Root.
He is
Justin
a guy
Long
that can do it all. Justin Long. You know, Vince Vaughn in The Right Thing really makes me laugh. It's a great casting. Vince Vaughn is the everyman, the average Joe or whatever. You know, love it. So
and
does he
taunt.
He should have played with him. He really should have shredded with him here. He's got a guitar on.
Do you like that name, Crucial Taunt?
Crucial Taunt. It's a good movie band name.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little hard to say. Crucial
Taunt. It is. Yeah, I think actually that's a good
mouthful.
point. It's not the best. I empathize with anyone. Certainly the like in the modern era now more than ever. Just like you got to. We don't ever do a reset on band names.
No.
You know, they're all just taken. So you gotta.
It's tough.
My God, when I see a flyer of a festival, yeah, I get that I'm not going to know all the cool bands, but I don't even know how to say a lot of them.
Well, do you want to say your go-to for Hard Times articles?
Oh, like my trick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just look up old Atari games.
Yeah, it's great.
Some of them sound like band names, like Ghost Manor and Space Battle.
You have that NES article about like a
Space Race, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Like shitty NES game, also shitty band or something. It's the Cheetah Man.
it was something. It was like NES tribute band also plays like shit. Yeah. Oh, I like Mr. Big does a hard like jackknife,
it's pretty
like
impressive.
a U-turn through the traffic. People are swerving out. It's like, I gotta go sign a fucking band.
Oh man, this guy's about to get partied out.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be a long night.
This song does rule.
Yeah,
it's just fun movie.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really funny. Like, they stack endings up. No one's ever done that.
I know. It's really great.
I just can't imagine.
Fucking poor Benjamin. He's crawling over. Someone put a finger up his butt.
He's all butt hurt.
I mean, this movie it doesn't take it lightly. It's got some police brutality in it.
You know, yeah. The Wayne and Garth are easily able to manipulate the cop to be violent towards a man for their own doing. It's like, we can tell you more. No,
she's playing bass.
Yeah, she's playing bass. She's strumming that bass. She plays a lot of 4-string Fender basses, I think, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I always like her fucking band are like a bunch of. They look like guys I didn't want the 80s to end. You know.
Yeah.
She looks like she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine, I think. But these
they're all wearing shirts, but are shirtless.
That's right. It's a paradox.
Oh,
it's the paradox
I
of
forgot
metal.
how much Sharp looks like an insane person.
Yeah. Frankie Sharp Records.
He's got a ponytail.
I must say, I've seen a lot of accidents. Although you're extremely
This guy's like, where'd this guy wandering out of The Sopranos or something?
Also, just saying, although you're extremely beautiful, we must pass.
I know. It's like, wait, you did a U-turn? You did a U-turn for that?
What a weird line.
I could not resist the urge to pass on abandoned person.
That's why I've been so moody.
I know, and they start, before you realize they're going to do a second ending, they just hit you with the awful, awful ending.
It's so funny. It's such a good way to do it, to do the bad ending first.
I like
the fire comes over the screen.
And then the implication, it's like, because then we see Garth carrying Wayne out, like Wayne wasn't going to leave. He was going to burn up by his own
No,
choice.
it's the other way around. Wayne is carrying Garth.
Oh, you're right. Okay. All right.
And they're like in the apocalypse.
God.
And then Benjamin has sex with Cassandra.
That's right.
Last night was the
They're
most
just hanging out.
It's even a dark ending for Cassandra. Like, is she even in a band anymore?
Right. Yeah.
She's just now like Benjamin's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. So what's the plot? Is there a plot between him and Cassandra in Wayne's World 2? Is that maybe part of it?
He's out, right? It's Christopher Walken just plays the exact same character.
That's what I mean. It's just like Tia Carrere's plot, Cassandra's plot in general in Wayne's World 2. I was trying to remember what it is. It's like she kind of has a love triangle thing.
It's basically the exact same thing.
It's the same
as
thing.
this.
Maybe that's one of the flaws of Wayne's World 2. Is that it's just
they
like
just do it again.
That subplot doesn't really feel fresh. Obviously, Christopher Walken's fun. But is it like because he's Cantonese, so she wants to be with him?
I think the story is just that
her
like,
parents.
He's just a better Jonathan,
Right.
Or Benjamin, whatever the fuck his name is.
But also, he's better in the sense that it is fun that it's Christopher Walken playing the part.
performance of my
No,
life.
we'll get rid of the band. No, it's Garage Band. It's good.
There's one last thing. Let's just see. who
This is absurd.
I love that it's
The Scooby-Doo is
yeah.
out of control.
It's Old Man Withers.
And again, this is such a throwaway line. Where
They-
they
it's
ask him
in the
about his,
beginning.
that's like this amusement park or something, right?
Yeah, they ask him
And
how
it's
the
just-
amusement
right.
park business is
Yeah,
going.
yeah. And then it's just like, who would have thought that's going to circle back? It seems like the most disposable part of the movie. Oh, look at my man with the fucking Confederate flag on his pants in the band.
That's weird.
Okay.
They're in Chicago. Well, they're in Aurora.
Right. South Illinois will rise again. I don't think it's South Illinois. In every ending, he has been violated anally, Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
I saw your
It's a bit much.
performance in my limo. I must tell you, it was terrific. In fact, I think it's so good. I'm gonna give you a 6 album.
I also just like it's just a funny way to be like this ending doesn't matter. Like none of this matters. We all know the different
Right.
things that could happen. Let's just give him everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's ultimately right. It's
not real.
Exactly.
I love you, Dream Woman. It's such a funny line.
Yeah.
Me in a whole new way. I love you, man.
And I love you. Because I've learned that platonic love can exist between two grown men.
And I've learned something too. I've learned that a flawless profile.
I wonder, was this kind of Rob Lowe's comeback of sorts after? I don't know. I know he was in like the 80s movies. He was in St. Elmo's Fire and all that. And then I think there was a bit of a come down. And then hindsight's 2020. This was a big hit, but maybe it was like slumming at the time. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I really have no idea.
I like
Should
it.
look
But you know,
into Rob Lowe's history.
but you're right. Is that it's just like it's a comedy. Did you have fun for 90 minutes? Who fucking cares? You know, end however you want. We don't get a last name on Cassandra. What do you make of
I
that?
never noticed that this credit sequence has lyrics to the Wayne's World theme.
Yeah, he goes on and on. But we'll surrender
can't
and
sing,
go
really.
Amish. Not. Yeah. If you don't like it, you're a sphincter boy.
That's wild.
I think they've kind of trot out a lot of the phrases and such here. Pete Friesen playing guitar for Alice Cooper. Pete Friesen, and apostrophe. I love that. Tony Friesen.
So what do you think? What do you rate it out of 10?
I think Tony is the reason for the Friesen.
Oh wait, what is this after the credit scene again? Post credit scene for a comedy movie back then. Pretty rare.
Yeah.
Whimsical and yet relevant, with an underlying
It's kind of the during credit scene. I like that. I like a during credit scene. School of Rock has a nice one.
I just hope you didn't think it sucked.
Do you like School of Rock?
I like School of Rock. I haven't seen it since I was a child.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I don't know
It's
if
good.
it holds up.
Great vehicle for Jack Black. You know, it's a PG-13 family-friendly thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just
Arguably his
it's a
best
fucking
role.
great. It's a fucking great role for it. Can you imagine like someone else doing that? I don't think it
No,
would have
literally
happened.
not. I mean, there's
They
a
wouldn't have
musical
made it,
now.
right?
There's a musical
Yes.
in New York City, and I went to see Oh Hello on Broadway, and every showing of Oh Hello, they have a celebrity guest come on in the middle to do Too Much Tuna with. And when they announced, like, and now the star of School of Rock, I was like, holy shit, they got fucking Jack Black, and then it was some other guy.
Broadway guy that you don't
Yeah.
know, or which hey, cool,
bummed
but
about it.
yeah, I would have been the same. Damn. Does he play it like Jack Black, or does he do his own thing?
He
Do you
looks
know?
pretty similar, I think, but I don't really remember.
It's like
he
a
wasn't
hard. It's like
doing
a very
character,
specific.
He was like,
yeah,
you know,
he was himself, right?
Yeah.
I wonder about the Broadway show looks. That's like a specific thing. It's kind of weird to picture it either
you
way.
could
with
do
or
that
without
though.
that,
You could
know?
do a Jack Black impression,
Yeah.
right? Like that's an easy one to do, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's
I can
just-
do it
it's
right
just-
now, but I feel like if you made me like study Jack Black, I could figure that out.
Yeah, I think so. But should you?
No, it's a power that only one man should have.
That's
and
right.
That is Jack Black.
I believe that. It is funny that they did like the big. This is like the Crucial Taunt version of the little shitty Wayne's World song they play at the beginning of every sketch. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we should rate this and rate
guess.
it.
I mean, 10
we
out of
talked.
10.
It's one. We just it's one gets a 10. You know?
Yeah, yeah. We love one. Maybe we'll watch 2 on the podcast. 2 has so many jokes that it's got more memorable jokes in it. And that's it.
Yeah. I think I called my MVP. I said it as Ed O'Neill, which might be
Yeah.
in a performance way. I mean, I honestly think, and I
It's
maybe a
fucking
little biased
Wayne and
because
Garth, dude.
I mean, I think it's Penelope Spheres because she was the secret sauce.
Oh, I
That's
forgot
what I
that there's a
think.
second post-credit scene.
No.
It's just them reading comic books and then being like, "You're still here?"
Like, yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone's gonna tell us when to
Oh,
leave.
no one's gonna tell us when to leave.
Yeah, good call, Garth. I'll bet we're just gonna sit here, and when they're finished, they'll fade to black. Can't
I love
believe they did that.
the
I told ya.
underwhelming, like, you know, it's like you get a gag at the end, you think it's going to be something that knocks your socks off, and it's this sort of like counter programmed, like, oh hey, I guess, you know what I mean? It's kind of, Ferris Bueller has the same thing where he comes out and goes, "You're still here? Go home." You know, like, it's almost like a slap in the face for waiting. You know, you don't get the big reward for waiting. It's like, no, it's done. I love it.
That's Wayne's World.
Well,
I mean, if
it
anyone is listening and hasn't seen it, you should watch it. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
It's one of the good ones. I think it holds up. I think maybe it's nostalgia, but I think it holds up 100%.
I think so. Yeah,
Maybe
Hey, I have a-
99%.
I have a commentary with director Penelope Spheres on my Blu-ray. That's fun. Is there anything that doesn't hold up?
I think some of the Cantonese bits are a little much. I don't know if
That's
you do
right.
them now, but they do them
That's right.
fairly lovingly. Like, it doesn't feel like insanely dated for being like 30 years old. And then the cop, I mean, well, you know, molesting Benjamin is a bit much.
Sure. Yeah.
That's really it. And also
I
some
think-
old
yeah.
references that aren't like offensive,
course.
but are like,
No,
I don't know if
right.
people know what these are anymore.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And even like, again, like whether it's the stuff like the Vernon Shirley and Terminator's timeless, they really took a shot in Grey Poupon, because I don't think that really,
No, yeah. Or like the,
that was a moment in time.
yeah. I'm trying to, I was going to say the commercials.
New
They
print
do-
or whatever.
What's that? They do like the
the
laundry
headache.
commercial, but that's in 2, I think.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, good. It's good. It's good stuff. And I think with the Cantonese too, it's like he's speaking it. It's not like he's doing like overly, you know, the really offensive thing would be like writing like intentionally bad, you know, sing-songy, bad interpretations of it. Like it sounds like is he speaking it, but just really doing a thing with it, kind of, you know. I don't know. But there's more of that in the sequel too, I think, where they do the whole like kung fu dubbing movie bit.
Yeah, they do a lot of it. That scene's so funny though, where they dub both of them, and they dub Wayne, and he's like, "Hello, I'm Wayne."
Yeah,
Which is
he
really
gets one
good.
too. He gets one too. Yeah, it's very good. And these are like a lot of funny spoof movies and stuff. It's like, you know, you're making fun of certain things too, but I think a lot of it's like we all just love movies. So it's just like, oh, it's like a kung fu movie, or it's like these scenes that you know from things and just kind of our take on it.
It
I love
doesn't
it.
feel like there's a shred of hatred in it, but you know,
That's the thing
it's a
too.
little
I
dated.
think.
I don't know if you would do it now. Oh, I should
Right.
stop this timer.
But I think it is like, again, maybe it's like that Penelope Spheres influence showing up or something, where it's like the bad things in this movie, like the fucking systems and the lamos and the businessmen and stuff like that.
Yes.
And even if there's friction amongst these guys, they're all on the same team and stuff. And I like that. I think
The villain
I
of
think
the
it's good.
sequel is just the guy who wants to fuck Wayne's girlfriend.
Right, but that's in 1 and now 2, and it's also like what, like the county board that they're
Yeah.
trying to put on. I don't know. I don't know.
Who
all the way now.
cares?
A little bit. Who cares? Yeah. This is
Anyway.
like the Wayne. This is what the movie is. Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. You don't need
Perfect
to tell you
movie.
that. We just watch it. Good flick. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for
guys.
hanging out. Should we say goodbye?
No.
No.
Make them wonder.
I don't think anyone's gonna
make
tell
them wonder
us.
if it's over.
I don't think anyone's gonna tell us when to leave, Mark.
Oh God.
They're just gonna
Well,
fade to black.
Lame. Well,